Welcome to part 4 of Writing with New Media, Introduction to Multimodal Composing. In the previous two sections I discussed why new media, and in the second part what are some of the standards for evaluating new media. And in almost all of the cases we've been looking at examples that focus on digital storytelling movement, which offers some incredibly accessible resources, especially for those new to working with new media. We also drew from journalism, which is another really effective resource for thinking about how to incorporate multiple modalities. But the fact is, our options for digital storytelling are many, and they needn't necessarily be video. Video usually incorporates all of these options. Usually it has at least a layer of narrative. It usually has at least a layer of sound. It usually incorporates video recorded elsewhere or selected from other sources and brought in, and it usually includes some kind of images. And I want to spend just this part to kind of talk about those options, and to also discuss even further the ways in which writing with new media parallels writing with other forms of text, with alphabetic text, for example. Here's a quick kind of rundown of the various steps involved with writing a new media text in the course that I'm teaching now, a graduate level course that focuses on remixing archival research that's been digitized and is available in our local history collections and through our library. Stories that are remixed from elements drawn together from the Northeast Texas digital collections, and for those who have some connection to the region, even if just as a student, even from personal collections and other artifacts that are drawn together that way. So, like anything, from idea to text, we get an idea, we do some research, we storyboard it, which is in the parallel to writing it with text would be just an outline or some sort of drafting, thinking about the various arrangement of the project as it's going forward, to the point at which we set up the text. Some other parallels, First, we find a story by doing some brainstorming. Maybe we do some field research. Maybe we do some archival research. We do some journaling. We do some reading. We do some remembering, some conversations. Then we need to, once we know what we're going to write about, we need to get the story down. We need to draft. We need to collect our quotes if we're doing, alphabetic text or modalities of like images and maybe video or sound. If we're doing other things, we need to think about how to arrange it, and that's where our storyboard comes in. And if we're dealing with the elements that already exist, in many cases we remix. And then we do some refining, and we complete the story review, we get some feedback, we do some revision, we do some sharing. These are all things that we do no matter what kind of writing we're doing. As I mentioned in my class, we are right now with this course, Remixing the Archives, we are echoing a number of these steps. We began by exploring, doing some contextualizing, by reading a little bit about how to do archival research, by looking at some of the archival research that has informed the work that we're trying to do here in this area, and we've explored the collections to see what's available. We've explored our the possibilities amongst one another, and then we have then pitched our idea to colleagues and to our classmates, and then once we kind of have an idea of what we want to work with, we begin to further kind of define what we want to do. We've collected some artifacts, we decide on where we're going to go with that, then we develop a working abstract, and at that point we're ready to compose, to create, to remix. We do the storyboarding, and then we remix the various elements involved and offer a rough cut. We do a review of that, and then we revise and finalize. This is very much in keeping with the previous, where we find the story in terms of this, exploring, contextualizing, defining, and collecting and deciding. We get it down somehow, we compose, we storyboard, we create, remix, and then in the same way we finalize and we reflect, we find a way to share it. In the next portion I'll talk about how we plan.